Hello and welcome to my little video review of all sorts of art apps you can get on you know the Nintendo eShop. We'll be going through a few of these random art games and I'll be telling you what I think about them and in the end which I think is the best option for you as an artist if you're interested in drawing things on your Switch. We'll start out by using one of these things. This is called a fiber tip pen. These particular pens are pretty cheap and your cheapest option to using on a Switch. They do work the same as as like your finger. You can use them. And we'll start with this game, NSO, or as it's called in full terms, NSO New Operating System. There we go. Now NSO is more of a computer sort of semi-computer app, which it acts like a computer with several options you can use. We'll start with this. It comes with a calculator, which you can use for math. And like another computer, you can just set it aside. There's a gallery. We'll set this as a wallpaper for now. And which you can use to view some of the pictures you created. There's a notebook you can use here for typing, obviously, for making all sorts of notes or journal entries. We'll just leave here. There we go. A to-do list you can make for yourself, obviously. Puzzles, which is basically just a simple, move a tile puzzle. There's even an add-on you could download for free, which is Snake, using a cat. It's pretty simple and fun. You can even change the colors of it too, using the buttons on the X and Y. And you can use X to reset the game. Pretty simple, but we'll end it there. Now we're on to the main thing, paint mechanic. As you can see, this mechanic comes with several colors on the bottom, a limited set of colors, and for some reason, 6 rando colors, which is kind of unnecessary for an art thing, but I guess something kids would like to toy with. You have several options here. You have the pencil, which works like this, pretty much just a wide sort of thing, not exactly ideal. Then there's the paintbrush. Trying to pick a different color here. There we go. Which is about the same issues. It's more of a wided thing than a more circular. There's a spray can. Oh wait, there we go. Say it's just as good as the rest. It's probably more circular of all the options, so it's not just a one wide brush, it's more of just a circle, so it's maybe more ideal to draw with. Of course, you have your eraser and just the trash button, which you can just use to erase the whole thing. Now, luckily, like most things, it comes with a size change, so you can change the size of your paint right here on the side. You can make it large as heck or tiny as possible. Obviously, this isn't really an ideal drawing method. Limited colors on the bottom isn't exactly ideal. There's also these little buttons to move it around, but... Oh, wait, there's undo and redo, which is useful if you want to undo a mistake or redo something you already did. But overall, it's pretty simplistic. This I got for $1.99 on the eShop, so you get what you pay for. It's not entirely a bad deal if you wanted something really cheap for your Switch. Now, but overall, I wouldn't say it's the ideal means of coloring. Next, we'll move on to comic coloring book complete edition. This was also something I got for $1.99 because it was on sale. Funny enough, these two games were also made by Red Deer. Now we're going to focus mainly on Draw Your Story because these are just set drawings you can just color in. again, this is more of a kid sort of drawing game, but it is a heavily flawed one. We're gonna do, and work on this one. You can pick any thing out of this, and there you go. You see the first problem here. See, there's even less colors than the NSO game we did before. There's only like way less. And no, you can't just change them. You can't arrange them. Now you got at the top is your paint bucket, which does exactly what it's supposed to do. This is ink. We'll switch to a different color here. There we go. Which is pretty much your basic pen. Nothing too special here. Then we have the pencil, which does function differently. So it's got a more grainy sort of look to it. Adding more texture sort of look to it. Then we got the brush, which is more of a faded thing. I guess you could potentially use this for shading or mixing colors, but that's a lot more work than it seems to be worth. Then we have the crayon. Not being cooperative. There we go. Also more textured, like the pencil. Definitely different, but unique. And obviously you have the spray can. It's brown. It's not working with me. Oh, wait. There we go. Spray can, gray. Seems like it doesn't, like I can't select with the pen itself, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, the spray can just dotted little ditties all over it. I wouldn't say it's a good version of a spray can in this game. It's pretty average, or I guess below average. Of course, you got your eraser, which just does exactly what you expect. There's the OK thing, which just gives you pop-in things you can place all over the place. And finally, the trash can, which will put this piece of garbage bin in the trash bin where it belongs. There we go. Now, the main issue with this entire game is the fact you cannot control the size of your pens. You're stuck to what it's preset to. And it has preset colors that are very limited, even compared to the last game. So it's not even ideal for anyone to really work with. Heck, I don't think even kids will get too much fun out of this, considering how limited it is. Not being able to choose the size of your pens is a huge problem. It's just not ideal as an art game, and I really wouldn't recommend it at all. Now we move on to our third game, End Paint. I got this one recently as well. This was on sale for $1.99. Oh, whoop-de-doo, this is also made by Red Deer Games. Not surprised, they seem to have a market on these things for some reason. Now, obviously we're just starting this one, so we're going to press the plus button for a new image. And again, it is basically the same as NSO again. It has a set amount of colors, and for some gosh dang reason, 6 rando colors that nobody needs. At least not anyone who wants to be an artist. Now, we got the same tools as well. We got the pencil, got the brush, spray can, eraser, and the trash. So they basically do all the same. You can use the D-pad to switch your tools. Now in all three of these games, you can, for some gosh forsaken reason, you could use your stick and stuff like that. But why would you ever bother doing something so terrible? Just get a pen. These things aren't that expensive if you want the bare minimum. Now, obviously, you can actually change the size of these this time. Thank goodness. Now, the brush is more grainy on the side, which isn't so terrible. The pencil, we're going to switch to blue, is probably just like the same thing as the pen. It's really not that, it's like from the previous games, it's just more like the ink, which kind of is weird. Spray can should probably do about the same as it was in the last time. You know, there's thin spraying thing. You could probably just use this for shading in a way, since it's more see-through. Eraser, obviously, which just does what it does. And you have the trash option, which, boom, there goes everything. You can use L and R to switch between colors here. Again, this is a pretty mediocre, paint tool. If you have a smartphone, most phone apps come with a color wheel, which is basically the most bare essential for drawing applications. Heck, some phone games come with layers, which is very useful if you're drawing digitally. These games are pretty bare bones and lack a lot of the typical things you would find on a phone. Though they're not terrible, they're just underwhelming compared to the actual competition you get for free. And now we'll move on to the last game, Colors Live. This one I actually had to pay a decent amount of some money for, and this was not made by Red Deer Games. This one is actually the art app I frequently use as my main for when I use my Switch. Now, the Colors Live application requires the use of an actual pen. You cannot draw with your sticks in this option. And luckily, if you get a physical copy, it comes with a special tool called the Sonar Pen. You have to just max out the volume, and bam, this baby's ready to go. We'll just use a regular drawing for example. Here we go. And this baby's got a lot of tools. Now you think, oh, there's only just 4. No, there's actually a lot more. See, you have a huge tool set to select from, and you can fave certain ones to put on your quick access options. And there is a lot. And unlike all the other games, this has a color wheel with a shader triangle in the center. So you have a lot of color options here. You can draw exactly what you want. And not to mention, it also comes with layers. Lots of layer options. You can make up to 10 layers. Merge them down to save time, or even duplicate them. You can even then make them fade from previous ones and such. There's also an option to change it. You can flip it. Well, we don't really have a picture here, so let me just draw something to make an example. You can flip it horizontally or vertically. Obviously, the canvas. And the best part is this game comes with a playback option. So you can watch your progress of how you made the little drawing. Obviously, I made this in like a second, so it can't really do much. You can even record it and such as for yourself. And the best part is, even when you're done with it, which we can just do this, you can save and exit it and come back later. And it will always keep a record of everything you've done in that drawing. Like, after you save it, it still has that record. See, you can even control the speed of the video. Now we're going to just trash this because we don't actually want it. But NSO comes with something else, the Color Quest. Right now, there's a seasonal quest called Spring Quest. This will disappear soon. Well, actually, this should have been gone already. I don't know why it's like, this is May, so this game should be gone by now. Then there's Classic Quest. This one comes with the game. Here's the thing, though. This isn't a bad idea, getting people to practice drawing unique scenarios and stuff like that. But you can only do one of these a day. Like, you can only do one mission a day for some gosh reason. I don't know why they make you do that. Seems like you should just be able to play it however you want. But the game, for some reason, they decided, nope, you can only do one day, that's it. But other than that, and to be frank, this is just a completely optional thing. You can draw whatever you want, whenever you want on this app. One thing I should make it clear, though, with the Sonar Pen, you shouldn't record videos while this thing is plugged in. Because if you do, it creates this, you see, this thing is plugged into sound. So when you record something, it replaces the usual noise you'd get with this ear-gratingly high-pitched noise during the whole video, regardless of what it is. Now, if you want my opinions on what I thought about each of these overall, I would say that Colors Live is definitely your best option if you want to draw digital art on your Switch. It has the most options, it has the most tools, it is just generally the best option you could possibly get on the Nintendo Switch right now. Then I guess there would come to N Paint, which is basically just NSO, but a little better. And then we get NSO in third place. And in dead last, we get the Comic Coloring Book, because you can't even control the size of your pens, and you have an even more limited color options. Overall, these three are not ideal. If you really wanted to draw on your Switch on a very tight budget, you could get N-Paint while it's on a discount for $1.99. There was a fourth game called Paint, but it was no longer on sale and it was worth $10, and I didn't want to spend the money on that one because I was certain I wasn't going to probably like it because it didn't look that much better than N-Paint either. But overall, if you want my opinion, just get yourself Colors Live. That's your best option. It's a great deal, especially if you get a physical copy because it comes with the Sonar pen. But as an added bonus, there is one last game to take a look at. Let me go grab it real quick because there is actually one game that also has an option to draw on it. Where is it? Give me a second. Just pause. And that's none other than Pokemon Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond. You see, these games have a neat little thing in them that you can actually use to draw on. We're just going to switch out the game because I have a physical copy of Colors Live, so I can't just do whatever I want. I have to pull out the physical game. Give me a second here. And, oh, I gotta get it downloaded. I'm just going to pause here. Okay, we're back. Now, we can finally start with what I was trying to show. Just gotta load. Here we go. It'll open up my game. Now I know that Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond aren't exactly the best games in the series, but there are some neat functions they managed to actually bring back over from the original DS port, and that, none other than this little baby right here. The Pokewatch. And the Pokewatch had multiple functions, obviously, aside from just a thing. And one of those was notes. You could actually draw pictures on the note. And guess what? The Sonar pen actually does work on it. It's not exactly an ideal thing to draw on, but you technically can use the Sonar pen on any of the drawing games here. Now, why didn't I use the Sonar pen on the previous 3 games? The answer is pretty obvious. It's because if you had the Sonar pen, you'd already have Colors Live, and then what would be the point of even owning those other 3 games? Because, Colors Live is just better than all of them. Now, if you just want to clear the thing, you can just switch the game, and it should just automatically clear it out. See? Or you could just put it away. That usually does it too. See? That does it too. Now, this is obviously just a sort of a silly thing I'm bringing up. You don't really want to seriously use this thing for drawing, because, it's just black and green like a Game Boy. Well, it's more greenish gray, but you get the point. It is just a neat thing you could do if you happen to have a copy of this game. But that's all there is to say right now. Like I said, if you want to seriously draw some good stuff on your Switch, you want to get Colors Live. If you want to be cheap, you can always get N-Paint. But, I just go with Colors Live. It's just a better experience. It's better tools, better everything compared to something like N-Paint or, gosh forbid, Comic Coloring Book. Anyway, I'm just giving you all my opinion. Hope you have a nice day, and thank you for watching.